Hey, what's up, guys? We want to get this game going, but before we do, I want to say hi to Andrew from Star Nation at the Austin Barcraft. What's up, guys? Oh, that is so cute to see that minor delay there. Guys, why don't you guys say hi back to Austin Barcraft? Nerds all over the world together here.
Having beers, having cheers, and watching some amazing StarCraft 2.
There's some amazing things in this world.
There are,
you know,
like DRG.
Like DRG versus Alicia, Barcraft, and Artosis, and this is just an amazing thing. We're going to go into this game now. In the far right, in the red, we have our player. His defenses were circumvented in game number 2. Will he have more solid defense here in game number 3? He is DRG. His opponent, supposedly the underdog, although it didn't look like it in that game we just saw, trying to overcome his worst matchup. Show your support for Alicia. All right, so we're on a big map.
Yeah, Metropolis, it gives us some pretty interesting games, Tasteless. Now, this is a map where force field is pretty good. There's some narrow areas, even though it's a huge map. So we definitely could see some sort of huge sentry count on 2 bases in a push. This is also a good map for the Warp Prism full of sentries drop, whether that's Blink Stalkers with Void Rays or just by itself. And this is also a map where Protoss can take a quick third. Now, as far as DRG and his possible strategies go, he's probably going to take 3 bases in macro.
Call it a hunch, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I might be clairvoyant.
I think we're seeing a pattern with that.
Yeah.
So big maps operate much differently than small maps, and of course it's also based off expansion locations. But this could be a pretty drawn-out game. This could be a split map game. But keep in mind, although Zergs do generally like to be on big maps where they're far away from their opponent, what's one of the burdens of having a big map like that? You got to push or creep all the way across this freaking huge map.
That's true, and you know what else? Some of these huge roach styles, it takes a long time to get across this map with those. So those aren't going to be quite as effective if you want to try them.
All right, so DRG kind of being forced into taking this expansion over here at the top. Now, this is actually something from StarCraft 1 that's been going on for a long time. Once people figured out that, oh, wait, you can actually just block a structure from being made, especially with Zerg. It's very easy. With a building, the Zergs have had to come up with this. So DRG, even from StarCraft 1, has had to deal with this for a long time, as I'm sure most of you guys who ladder a lot have had to. But it can be a bit annoying. It's a bit more difficult to get your drones transferred there. Do you want to transfer your drones there? You lose some mining time. So, again, he's just forcing DRG to play to Alicia's rules.
Yeah, and the Queen, you know, it takes about 2 years to get down there. That's always annoying. But, you know, DRG's so used to this. As you said, he's been against this basically every single game. Every single game.
Yes.
So he's going to be all right.
Now, the question here for Alicia, the challenge for Alicia is, what do you do? The Zerg is far away. The Zerg's feeling very comfy. Comfy Zergs make lots of drones. It means big, scary armies later on. How does Alicia punish this? Does Alicia try to utilize the distance on the map and go take a third base right away? Does Alicia try to go for a starport with fast phoenixes to try to do some harassment? Does Alicia hide a pylon and try to do some kind of rush, punishing DRG for getting too relaxed on such an open field?
Well, we'll see in just a moment here. That Cybernetics core is going to finish up, and then, of course, he'll buy Warp Gate and a Stalker. And from there, after he regains some minerals and gas, he'll decide exactly which strategy he wants to go with here, whether it's going to be a Stargate, a Robo, or perhaps even a Twilight.
a little peek there by the Zerglings. He does see that, wait a minute. He's getting shields.
Okay, this. All right, if it's
Good,
shields,
good
there is.
call out of BC. I would have noticed that. Yeah, this changed
Now,
everything.
the shields, the only reason you might want to get that is if you're doing like a blink stalker all in. Because you're trying to blink away before you take any real damage, and it gives you more hits on their shields. But, I mean, he's making a robo, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, maybe he wants to just get an observer or something.
Yeah, could be.
And blink in
Could
the
be.
main, and then, you know, he can blink out one by one, and by then, of course, yeah, the shield will reject.
You know, other than that, I'm trying to think what
Well,
would be
you know,
worthwhile.
it's kind of weird he's getting
It's good on
all
Immortals.
these gases, too. Yeah.
It's good on Immortals. Other than that, man, it's maybe S hotkey. He was trying to make a sentry out of the gateway.
Well, we're going to see. Yeah, I'm a bit curious about this, too. Yeah, quick shields. Generally speaking, throughout StarCraft's history, shields are just not really upgraded. They are generally disregarded. Not that they are bad, but they are usually viewed as very expensive, and oftentimes not the best solution for some of the problems that Protoss face early on.
It's really beginning to look like it's just to help out the Immortals. Maybe he's going to go from the shields directly into +1 attack and skip armor, because with Immortals, armor not really all that useful.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'm curious to see, yeah, what is he going to get after the shields? I think you're right, probably +1 attack. And I want your personal opinion on this, Joseph. Do you view this as a timing build? Is this game, in Alicia's eyes, supposed to end at one very specific moment, or is this a kind of transitional build, like, okay, he can go out and poke and then expand again, and the story goes on?
Well, it definitely looks right now like it is going to be a 2-base timing attack, but it doesn't have to be. You know, getting shields, that's good for defense. You know, it's going to help all his buildings
It's good for buildings, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to consider that. You know, if they're running around with lings trying to kill buildings, that +1 armor actually really will help on the shield. So there is the possibility that he won't attack, but here comes the third Immortal. No Nexus yet, couple more gates. Definitely, is, at this point, I would say, is going to be a Sentry Immortal push.
You know, the Immortal actually is my favorite unit in the game. It's such an interesting unit. But yeah, when you put Sentries and Immortals together, there is so much crazy stuff you can do. Because of the way the Immortals absorb and deal damage, and then, you know, of course, Sentries, they speak for themselves, Guardian Shield and Force Field.
Well, he's going 8 gates right now.
Okay.
And he didn't get the +1 attack, which I find a little bit peculiar. If you're going to go with 8 gates, that +1 attack is going to do well for you, but it's going to allow him to get an extra Sentry, so that's good. Now, he is going to push out. This is going to be very similar to what we saw from Sase on this map against Stefano. He's going to go up, try to get good force fields, and if DRG can't do really great surrounds and somehow eliminate these Sentries and Immortals, then he might just die to this.
You know what I'm wondering is if DRG actually checked the upgrades on the Protoss units, because if he hasn't, he's probably assuming this is +1 attack.
Yeah, there's definitely that chance.
All right, Alicia, show us the way. Is this a viable strat against the best Zerg in the world? Spinecrawlers, by the way, not quite complete. Not quite complete. And this is going to be bad news. Nice, isolating the roaches so we can gun down those Spinecrawlers.
Beautiful force fields there, trapping a lot of roaches, targeting down these Spinecrawlers as well. The Immortals can kill them very, very quickly. He has to be careful, though. He doesn't want to lose Sentries. One did just go down, and roaches are trying to flank. Some force fields go down. Oh, not the best force fields that time. And these Immortals being targeted down oh so quickly. 2 of them already do fall.
Yeah, the Immortals are key in this whole process. The Force Field's kind of getting in the way now of those Protoss suits. More Stalkers warping in. And let's see, act number 2 here has commenced, but it looks like DRG is not intimidated. Bum rushing the Immortal, and now surrounding the Stalkers and Sentries. DRG looking very scary.
Yeah, he has just surrounded everything. The force fields are gone. Only 2 Sentries left, and soon to be even less. These roaches dancing now.
Dancing.
He knows that he's got this game, and Alicia knows too. GG. DRG 1 game from victory. If Alicia doesn't win the next 2 games, it's over.
Yeah. I liked that strat from Alicia. I want to know what Apollo and DJ we think. I got a question for you guys. Do you think that map is too big to do that. Immortals are not exactly the fastest units in the game, you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty big map, but the one strength that helps out Protoss a lot is the rocks never really get broken down in between natural and third, and if you can break the front line, the two rallies come from two different ways, so it's actually really hard to reinforce correctly. But that, I think that really would have worked. There was 3 key mistakes that Alicia made while that was going on. Number one, he left 2 gateways as gateways, not warp gates, so it was actually 2 gateways down in that attack. The second mistake is that the sentry and the force fields weren't actually that good. And then the third mistake is the closest pylon to his attack got destroyed. That was actually something that Don Gu did there, taking it out. And then the closest pylon was actually in the center of the map, so we actually couldn't even reinforce properly.
Right, and actually one thing that DRG has done so well this weekend is he has absolutely been crushing Protosses by killing their ability to reinforce, and we saw that with just like 4 roaches and a swell of Zerglings go in through the back, not only to take out the closest pylon, but then was able to intercept all the stalkers that had just warped in. And, you know, I mean, from that point, the roach dance, man. I mean, like, that was it. There was nowhere those units could go. He just sort of overcame, and that was it. So, yeah, I can't believe DRG's just 1 game away from possible MLG championship.
It is crazy, and I got to tell you, if Alicia wants to do strats like that, the force fields must be perfect. The first set, basically perfect, but then it got a little bit messy, man. He's going to have to do better in this next game.
Well, DRG, as Marcus said, 1 game away. Alicia has quite a road ahead, but he can still come back. Who knows? We're going to take a quick commercial break while you guys hashtag DRG and Alicia. And when we get back, we're going to have another game here for the MLG Championship Sunday. Stay tuned.